Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and today we are going over another tournament list review, again, the Tyranids, and we'll be going over this 2,000 point list that is setting up to compete in my first Warhammer 40k major tournament. So, sit back and relax as I will dive into everything you need to know about this list, how I think it's going to perform, what I think are going to be its strengths and weaknesses, as well as kind of show off some glamour shots of this display that I have built. So if you're looking forward to this, please hit that like button, show us a little love in the comments section, and if you're looking to help out our channel a little bit more, consider becoming a member at the Maelstrom. You will get access to a private Discord channel. We're having a fun time over there, as well as premium content video that only you members can see. With all that out of the way, let's dive into this video. So for those of you who don't know, when I say this is for a major tournament is one that consists of, I believe it is at least 60 players up to a certain amount. It might be the biggest tournament out there besides GT's grand tournament, but a major. So there'll be roughly 60, I think it's 66 to 70 players, something in that number, all competing 2 days, 3 rounds each day competing in this. There's a lot of competition towards painting, towards the game itself, best overall. This is one of the biggest events that I've ever gone to, and I've been planning to go to this for 2 years now, because last year, thanks to Nurgle's Plague, it was canceled, postponed, not the same event as it is this year and it has been in the past. So I'm looking forward. Never been to a tournament that big or this big, so we'll see how it goes. I am going all in. I've built a display board, as you guys can see. And my goal is obviously at least best in faction as the Tyranids, but I would love to compete for best overall, best general. I really have built this list, and from how it's done in the past, I'm looking to take this to the top, see if I can do the best I have in one of these big performance tournaments. So let's dive into what is in this list. So in this list, we are running Kronos. I know, the love and the flavor and the meta for Tyranids right now is playing them in Leviathan. All the new goodies there, I think they're very good. And I will be, once this tournament is done, putting Kronos aside for a while and playing much more true to the new Leviathan rules, because I think they're really good, they're really fun. But for a tournament like this, I did not have a ton of extra prep work or prep time available to me to practice new rules and new deployment layouts and all of that in order to want to compete at the level that I want to for this tournament. So we're sticking with Kronos, and leading up this list is 2 HQs, very simple. First one is none other than Swarmy himself. You guys know him, you guys love him. He is in every competitive Tyranid roster, not necessarily anymore with Leviathan, though he probably will be in every single one. And followed up with him is my Warlord, the Neurothrope. Psychic powers, I'll put them in the description if I can't remember them, because I don't want to say them wrong. I believe the Neurothrope has Catalyst and the Resonance Barb. So we also have Smite. And the Hive Swarmlord has Onslaught and the Horror, or Onslaught and Paroxysm. I do not remember which one I selected as that last one. Those are the HQs. Troop choices, we have many options. We have 2 10-man Termagant squads, very bare bones, nothing there. We then have 2 warrior squads. They are going to be run bare bones, except for the one does have his dual bone swords, just because they're the models I have, and I'm going to sneak away with it because these models are the better painted ones, and I am going for that painting competition quality there. Both of these warrior squads do have bioweapon bond, so that will be nice, adding +1 to hit for either my hero duels or my Hive Guard, as you can see. We then have two more troop choices. We have a 3-man Ripper squad in the back. They will primarily be used for deep striking, helping me with some engagement fronts, tying up my opponent's backfield primary objectives if they leave them exposed. The Rippers deep striking are perfect at doing that. And then something I've trying, and I've had, I'm liking them, is one big block in the front there of 7 Ripper swarms. Now, why Ripper swarms for these? Well, yeah, they can't do actions, but I do have, as you can see this army, plenty of units to do actions in my own backfield, so I don't have to worry about that. The Rippers are 21 wounds for, I believe it's roughly 70 or 80% the cost of Gaunts, plus you get an extra wound in there. So, they're great. They deploy on the front line. They bog down my opponent's combat threats that try to rush one of my Hive Guard units, and they just kind of sit in the middle with objectives secured on those key objectives. So I'm actually a big fan of one of these big blocks, and if you got the Rippers, I recommend trying it out. That is the troops. Now let's go into the elites, another very full section. So I'm flanked here by 2 units of 6 Hive Guard. These guys can be absolutely oppressive. And I know that, and that is why I'm running Kronos, is mainly because I am running 2 units of them. So also in the elite section, I do have 1 Maleceptor. Now, if you watched my deep dive that we just did recently, I'll put it here, the Maleceptor I think is a great pick if you can take advantage of three key things that he provides. The first one is a Synaptic Link. Rerolling damage rolls is perfect on Hive Guard. I got plenty of those. And it's also not too bad on a Barb or on a side hero duel, and not great on Barb, but on a side hero duel, it's okay on that. The second thing is taking advantage of his stratagem, the Encephalic Diffusion. There we go. And it is best, in my opinion, Encephalic Diffusion is on toughness 8 monsters. So having the 2 hero duels here, seeing Meltas go to strength 7, and Las Cannons go strength 8 will really boost up the first turn survivability of these 2 beasts. And I often found when running these 2 beasts together, the side hero duel is almost always targeted and often brought down by Focus Fire turn 1 by things like Grey Knights or the Admech Chicken Walkers or Dark Eldar Dark Lances. Shooting like that, being taken down a strength, the only weapon I really will fear are Salamanders, and they're Meltas, but not even on turn 1 anymore, because they don't get +1 wound until turn 2. Basically guarantees my hero duel will have an extra turn of survivability for the cost of 2 CP. His final thing that he's taking advantage of is the Psychic Phase. He is running Symbiostorm, and he is also going to run, I guess, Smite as his other power. Symbiostorm on the Hive Guard or even the Barbed hero duel is very good, and because he's going to be sitting in the back playing more reserved, psychic support-esque, it'll be perfect. He will be able to Symbiostorm and give the bonus to one of the Hive Guard units and just let them do their thing while at the same time supporting the 2 monsters up the front. Probably won't take him too far out in terms of competitive, but if my opponent sends something after an objective or after the Hive Guard, he will be there to intercept, because while he's not great, he's at least durable and he can stall certain combat threats for a turn or 2 while maybe Swarmlord swings around to clean him up. Then in the elites, 2 last little guys, we have 2 lictors. Again, you can't really leave home in a competitive list without 2 lictors. They will deep strike, they will get me engaged in all fronts, they will get me retrieve Octair's data, raise the banners, they do it all, and for 37 points a pop, they are auto-include. We've talked about them already, but we do have the heavy supports leading up the back of this, and that is 2 hero duels, 1 barbed, 1 scythe. I love both of them. I think a barbed does very, very well right now with the ability to give them +1 to hit. And on the top of that, it does have the 2-up save. You do pay the premium for having the 2-up save, but getting them to hit on 2s with that gun, I can put the pathogenic slime on them in order to make them damage 3, work like a pseudo exocrine and even potentially a better exocrine because it is higher strength, less AP, more consistent shots. You can see I am on the display board, so I spent a while building this. It's got a nice stained wood frame. I used some texture paste from Vallejo to get this texture on top. Everything else is just pink foam that has been sculpted and painted, layer after layer after layer of paint. I do have these 2 Tyranid 3D printed kind of terrain just to add a little bit more unique shape to it. They turned out pretty well, actually. I was a little worried at first, but they turned out pretty good. And then I had another one I was going to put on here. It was too much on the board for what I've got, so I had to keep that one off, but that's okay. Some other things I need to be cognizant of are the psychic heavy armies like the Grey Knights. When it comes to secondaries, at least, I know this army is great. It has 5 denies for having just 3 models, thanks to the Resonance Barb on the Neurothrope. Maleceptor has 2 denies built in, and Swarmy only has 1 deny built in, because I think Swarmy should have more, but that's another topic. Still 5 denies is great. If Grey Knights want to try and spam that Purifying Ritual, it'll be important for me to get Swarmy up into range in order to deny those rituals, as well as potentially try to get the Maleceptor in range and the Neurothrope in range to try and deny those. Secondaries I'm going to be considering taking, obviously Engage on all fronts is a pretty good one for me to go with. Even if I am a little more of a castle-y Tyranid army, the mobility I have with the Hero Duel, Swarmy, the Rippers if I need to, the Gaunts if I need to, the Lictors, I should be able to get a decent amount of points with Engage. Another one would be Retrieve Octarius Data or Raise the Banners. Obviously, if it's a objective that benefits from doing banners, this army can do that. And if that is the case, then I can keep my Lictors on the table potentially and use them for a lot of banner raising actions, as well as the Bioweapon Bond Warriors. They're perfect for doing those as well, at least the ones in my backfield, because you can cast Bioweapon Bond upon your ally and still raise a banner. You don't have to worry about those things not working. So that's great. I will be looking at potentially, again, opponent pending, Grind them down. I think this is a good one to take, because I have, big blocks, big units everywhere, and there's not a lot of chaff for my opponent to chew through. They got a unit of Rippers, a big unit of Rippers, a small unit of Rippers, 2 Gaunt squads, 2 Lictors, and then the big guys. There's not a lot of chaff, and I can shoot with the Hive Guard all day long and make sure I can guarantee a few kills. So Grind them down might be one of them I want to consider, especially in a more tanky, castle-y, shooty army. I think I'm going to try Grind them down, but it depends on what my opponent brings. If my opponent has no Psychers, I could consider a Psychic Action one, but I think my Psychers are too important to the core of my army that I don't want to sacrifice any of them to doing Psychic Actions. Tried it again in the past, but when your Psychers are dedicated to being key in support roles, I don't think it's worth doing any Psychic Actions to go after it that way. So that's secondaries. Let's talk about the deployment a little bit while we're on tangent slightly. So it's going to start off very simple. Hive Guard are going to occupy some ignore line of sight terrain, or not ignore line of sight terrain, some obscuring terrain to benefit from their ignoring line of sight. You're gonna sit probably in the back, or if there's one big building in the middle, they'll all clump in behind it. I'm gonna have my hero duels take up one flank. This is important. They must stick together at all times. Well, at many times, at least in deployment. That way the Maleceptor and Swarmy can all castle up in one big bubble and do their thing. The Neurothrope will assist the rest of the units, providing the Synapse along with the Warriors. I really want my opponent to focus fire if I don't get turn one, or if I do, to focus fire the hero duels, especially the barbed one, if I can focus them to shoot that with the 2-up save, Dermic Symbiosis, the Encephalic Diffusion Stratagem. I think the barbed one is going to survive a lot of shots coming in turn one. So I'd like him to be focused most, and that way I can slingshot the Scythe one, who is going to be hopefully in full health condition, slingshot him up the board to kind of contest and stall my opponent's threats for the first turn or two, depending how long it lasts. Really, that's what I like to do with the Scythe one. He brushes out there, stalls my opponent's threats, while the Hive Guard and the Barbed Hero Duel shoot the rest of the threats apart, and he just does his thing. So it's pretty straightforward. I need to make sure my Hive Guard are protected at all costs. At least one unit to be obscured behind line of sight. Even if one of them maybe doesn't get to shoot turn one, but one of them can, that's okay. I've got a lot of Hive Guard. I'd rather keep them safe for an extra turn and have them to shoot later than not having Hive Guard at all, because they got shot to pieces. Like you'll see in a battle report coming up, I made a mistake of exposing a Hive Guard's foot, and a lot of them died because of it. So, you know, you live and you learn, and we learn to do better and to take those learnings in tournaments and kick butt with them. So that's it. It's a little bit of a rambly video. We're just you know, showing off the army, saying this is what's going on. I'm going to be going to the tournament, and well, you're seeing this tomorrow, hopefully. Knock on wood, I guess I'll know. Got to take a test in order to a Nurgle's Plague test in order to get into the venue. So unless I get a, you know, an unlucky false positive and they won't let me retake it or something like that, then it's the dumb rules you got to deal with. But that is what it is. We've got an army. Wish the Hive Fleet luck, and we'll be looking forward to seeing other Tyranid players. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a recap in the end. Actually, if we go to tournament, we will do a recap in the end, let you know how the list fares. What did we learn out of it? And I know there are going to be maybe 4 other Tyranids, which is fine. It's not huge, but 4 or 5 other Tyranid players. Maybe we'll take a little peek at all their lists, see what they're running, and see how they perform over the weekend. Ideally, we just want Tyranids to win everything, but I'd like to win some of the best in faction stuff. Or best overall. That would be a cool one, because that is part of painting and part of performing. So we'll see. That is how we're going. That's what my weekend is going to be soaked up with, hopefully. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to support this kind of content here at the channel, stay up to date on everything Maelstrom Gaming does, please like and subscribe and consider joining. We'll leave this as a nice short video, and thanks for watching, and have a great weekend. Maybe playing some 40k, maybe relaxing, doing some hobby stuff. Have a great one, and bye.